Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I was just getting my social media posts out and Instagram was not behaving. So I'm here now, though. How are all of you doing? All right, let me just make sure everything is looking good. I think it is. So I'm going to first start off by saying hello to everyone. Hello, Deanna. Hello, Michael. Hello, Beth. Mandy, how are you? Let's see, who else is here? Francisco, hello. Hey, Chris, how are you doing? Doot doot, all the flute. Noel, hello. Okay, I was only looking at names right now, so I'm going to now look at what you guys are actually saying. Oh, let's see. So Deanna, new flute is on your wish list for next year. Fantastic. Excellent. Oh, Michael, I'm so sorry to hear you've been struggling for the past 2 weeks. I hope you feel better. COVID? Oh no. I'm so sorry. So Deanna, you've also been ill, sinus and a cough. Oh, you guys. I got sick before you guys. I think that there's definitely something going around everywhere right now. Beth, you've had asthma problems all year, unable to play your clarinet or start learning the flute. Oh, I'm so sorry. Mandy is fighting bronchitis. You guys. Oh, you guys. Many sad. I am many sad. Okay, there. Now I don't have to keep craning my head this way. Oh, I just realized that my chat is not working on the screen. Oh no. All right, guys, let me sign on to Streamlabs and make sure. It may not work all of today. I'm going to guess. If it's not working right now, then it ain't working. I think it was working in the lobby though, right? In my welcome screen. Hiya. Why is it not working? So let's see, because I am using a widget. Well, I apparently had to sign in again. So I wonder if I had to do that. Well, that is let's see. I should already have a chat box going, right? There, I saved the settings and hopefully the chat will start coming in. Oh, no. Why is my chat not working? Okay, you know what? We'll leave it. Yeah? Oh, that is so unfortunate. It works. It's alive. It's alive. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop being distracted. I'm going to read more of what you guys are up to. Let's see. Ambiguous respiratory tract infection, not COVID for Deanna. Oh, you guys. Okay. So Francisco, what do you think I'm going to review? Let's see. Caitlin, hello. Welcome. Unsphered, welcome. Welcome, welcome. You know, guys, don't worry. It's okay to be a Debbie Downer. You know, like we get sick. We all get sick. I was sick basically right before you guys. So, you know, it's okay. I get it. Um, let's see. Mandy, you ordered a litter robot? That's amazing. Is it like a cat litter robot? That's so cool. Steven, hello and welcome back. How are you doing? Wonderful. Okay. I think I have mostly caught up with the chat. So for anyone who is not joining in the chat, hello and welcome. It's totally okay if you want to just lurk. Totally fine. I will not be, judgy or try to push you into being part of the chat. I am also a lurker in other people's chat, so I totally get it. So just kick back, relax, grab a hot drink, a hot beverage, and some snacks, and we're just going to be nerds together and review some flutes. So let's first start off with thanking the Flute Center of New York for sponsoring this stream. I'm always very, very thankful that they are. BNA Bound, you're lurking too. Blue Moon, you're lurking. I got all the lurkers to come out. Hello. You don't have to, by the way, but thank you for coming out and saying hi. Hello, Melissa. But yeah, so and you guys can keep chatting amongst yourselves too. If you guys want to just chat more about that robot litter, the litter robot, go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to continue with this. But yeah, I'm always thankful for the Flute Center for sponsoring all this amazing content. I would not be able to do these reviews without them. There's actually no way for me to do these reviews without them. So I do have a code. I know that a lot of you guys already know about this code, but it is JAF, which stands for Just Another Flutist. But if you use my code JAF with the Flute Center at flutecenter.com, to buy a flute, you will get a whole bunch of perks. So the perks include, and just to save myself the embarrassment, I'm just going to read it off. Okay. So you will get free shipping on your new flute. You'll get a 10-day trial instead of 7 days. You'll get an 18-month warranty. It is an extended warranty because it is normally 12 months. And you can try up to 3 instruments at a time. They will actually ship it out to you. So it very similarly to how they're shipping these flutes out to me to review. I know that a lot of you guys are a little bit confused as to where I'm located. I'm actually located in Seattle. So I'm on the other side of the country from New York. And I have been all this time that I've worked with the Flute Center of New York. Really, they are Flute Center because now they have a new branch in Chicago. So they are Flute Center, but there is one in New York and there is one in Chicago. I did just send my flute over to Flute Center Chicago for a COA. And it came back fantastic. What a great team. So if you guys are near in the Chicago area, definitely go and check out Flute Center Chicago. And of course, if you guys are dropping by New York, definitely go check out Flute Center New York. All right. Yeah, Chicago. That's right. So what else? There was another thing that I wanted to just kind of like address with you guys because it's in the title, finally a flute review. Okay. And I wanted to just, name the elephant in the room, which is that I haven't done a flute review since February, which is a very long time for me. And I think prior to that February flute review, I hadn't done one in a long time too. So I know that not everyone keeps up with my personal life, which is totally fine. But, and this is, I'm not apologizing and I am not asking for approval and I am not asking for, this it's not meant to be like a sob story or anything, but it's more just open communication with you guys so you guys know why, even though I love doing these reviews, I haven't been able to do them a lot. And it's because for the last couple of years, my husband and I have been dealing with his topical steroid withdrawal. I did make a video about it in early 2021, so you guys can go check that out if you want to. If you just go through my videos on this channel, you should see it, because I haven't been able to make a lot of videos in the last couple of years. And it describes that whole condition. It was very life consuming, all consuming. And so I didn't really have energy to really do much, besides survive. So, however, it has been 2 years, and now topical steroid withdrawal manifests differently for everyone. So some people take many, many, many years to get to a point where they can pretty much go back to normal. For some people, it only takes 3 to 6 months. John historically has taken about 2 years to get to the point where he can function. So it's actually not completely gone, but we are at a point where we can function. We can go back to essentially normal life. And so here I am. I am coming out of the 2 years of hell that we've been living through, and I'm finishing up old projects. And honestly, these live streams are part of those old projects that I have just had to put on hold. So that is what is happening. So I just wanted to put that out there, so it's no one's guessing as to why I haven't done a lot of flute reviews, even though arguably it is the best thing I am known for. And honestly, I love doing these too. I was like buzzing with excitement over this for like days now. So yeah. But yeah, so let's see what you guys are saying. So Viva is asking if sometime I can explain how I choose to move air through my mouth for different flutes, and how I decide to choose which method to do. That's a really good question. I definitely will consider it, how to explain that. Yeah, that's a very good question, but you'll have to give me some time. I'll definitely think about it. Okay. Hey, Martin, it's been a long time. How are you? Hello, Tanya. Let's see. Right. Piper Maid, hello. Welcome back. And I hope dinner is smelling amazing. Piper Maid is making dinner. All right. So there you go. Now you guys know what is going on. And I didn't want to come back to this live stream without upgrading it a bit. So as you can tell, the something is a little different. I'm sure you guys have noticed that the quality is a little bit different. I finally put up a light behind me as a hair light type of thing. It's like photography type of videography type of stuff. But as you can see, it does make the whole thing look a lot better. And the second thing that I've done is I got a lav mic. So you guys should probably be hearing me. It sounds just a hair different from my other talking mic. But now this will allow me to kind of go back and forth between trying flutes and talking to you guys in like something that actually sounds pretty good. And also you may have noticed that I was changing microphones hands-free, because now I have a pedal system down here, so I can move to my flute mics just like that. Now I sound very boomy, and now I'm back to my lav mics. Isn't that cool? Or am I really the only person who thinks this is really cool? Have I ever had the chance to play a Nyanyazi horn? No, I've never heard of that. Okay, Francisco thinks it's cool. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea how long it has taken me to match the sound of this microphone to my talking one. That was one of the reasons why I was a little bit late too, because I was running a few tests before coming on stream with you guys. But yeah, so now it'll be easy for me to go from playing the flute doot, 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 to talking to you guys like this. And it's just going to make for a much better experience for you guys, I think. Okay. Oh, they're the fully bejeweled flutes. Oh, so, yes, you're right. I have heard of them. No, I have not had the chance to try that. Okay, here we go, guys. So we are now going to open up the flutes, and I will finally let the suspense down, okay? So for those of you who are new to how this all works, this will be a live reaction and review. So I used to do my reviews like pre-filmed, but I thought that in order for you guys to have the most objective possible review out of me, or that is, you can immediately see my actual reaction and you know I'm not making stuff up. I decided to turn my reviews into live reactions and reviews. So this has kind of been many years in the making. And I want to make this a very kind of normal thing that I do. I think once when I tried to make it more normal, that was when life started to hit me. So with all the stuff we just talked about. So here we go. I've got it here. We shall begin opening it. Now, I'm going to open it and then I'm going to have to take it off screen because I need to take out the invoice that probably has some information on it, okay? Some of my personal information, and I don't want you guys to see that, okay? So anyway, I did remove the shipping tags, but I am here to prove to you guys I have not opened it up. It's not open, completely sealed, okay? And now I'm gonna open it up in front of you guys. So now you guys know for a fact, okay? This is my real reaction to this. Okay, now to be fair, I do know what at least what brand these flutes are, but I don't know really anything else about them. So we might need to do a little bit of, you know, research together, okay? So you guys can see my whole process on how I figure flutes out. Okay. All right, see, opened, okay, opened, opened, okay. So now that it's been opened, I'm gonna put it down here. All right, and I'm going to take out the invoice and hide my personal information. Okay, here we go, here we go. Well, the first thing was actually a flute. So we're going to put that here. Now you guys can see here. And then we have another flute. And we have a third flute. 3 flutes in total today. Okay, now here is the invoice. Okay, perfect, perfect. So I'm just going to fold my personal information onto the back so that y'all can't see it. All right, here we go. I got it here. Just gonna prove that there is nothing else. There is nothing else. Wow, you guys are probably hearing that all right up next to the microphone. But there's nothing else in here, okay? Only a lot of bubble wrap. If you guys wanted to see how much bubble wrap they have, I did make a very short like Flute Center tour video, and that one had like you could see this like giant roll of bubble wrap. It's pretty cool. Like they have like a whole like shipping area where you can tell they just like very quickly ship flutes. They just pack flutes and ship flutes out like every day. Crazy. So anyway, that's done. That's off to the side. Alrighty. Michael already knows my checklist for things to check on these flutes. Perfect. Okay. All right. So here we go. What do we have here? We have North Bridge flutes. That's what they're called. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is go here and we will start typing. All right. So we've got North Bridge flutes here. Let's see. Looking at the 3 that we have here. So we have, they all come with sterling silver Chris McKenna head joint. I feel like I've heard this name Chris McKenna before. So I should probably look that up. So we have we have one from the 500 series, 600 series, and the 700 series. Okay, so the one from the 500 series is a silver-plated body and mechanism, drawn tone holes, French open hole, pointed key arms, Pisoni pads, 0.016 tubing, so that's standard tubing, A equals 442, offset G, split E mechanism, and B foot joint. Wow. That's pretty good bang for your buck. And I can see that as of today, it is $1,649, which is exactly the same price as the Trevor James copper alloy that I bought as my backup flute. Okay, very cool. So it's silver head, silver plated body. The 600 series has let's see, this one's the silver head joint, sterling silver body. So the body is sterling silver, but the mechanism is silver plated. Okay, drawn tone holes, French open hole, Y key arms. Interesting. Oh wow, I feel like these days you actually don't see Y key arms very often anymore. Pisoni pads, standard tubing, 0.016 tubing, A equals 442, offset G, split E mechanism, B foot joint. Okay, wow, all of these have split E mechanism. Oh, I see what's interesting about the 700 series. So this specific 700 series that we have here has a C-sharp trill. So this one is silver head, sterling silver body, silver plated mechanism. So the mechanism is still silver plated. French open hole. Yeah, all of them are open hole. Yep. Drawn tone holes. Okay. Pointed key arms. So it has the little points on them. Pisoni pads. 0.016 tubing. So that's the standard wall. A equals 442. Offset G. Split E mechanism. C sharp trill key and a B foot joint. Okay. Very cool. So right now, so this 500 series is $1,650. The 600 series is $2,200. And then the 700 series with the C-sharp trill key is $2,800. That's pretty darn good. You could easily, with these specific specs, you could easily get through music school on the 600 series and the 700 series. Because if you're in music school, you do want to play a flute that's at least fully sterling silver. Otherwise, it's hard to get more tone color like flexibility, you know, and also just like the instrument needs to keep up with the level of music that you're playing. So I would say that the 500 series is a really good step up, though. That sounds like a really good step up. Okay, so let's write down what we have here. So I'll put here general specs first. So our general specs, we've got all of them have drawn tone holes. So drawn tone holes, I believe, means that you're not welding those tone holes onto the body. You're actually drawing them out from the tube. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there are any flute repair and flute makers watching this, because I know some of you watch these. So if you are a flute maker or if you're a repair person, flute technician, I believe, like, please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I'm very open to corrections. But I believe drawn tone holes is when you draw the tone hole up from the body itself. You're not welding an extra one. I am correct. Thank you, Deanna. And then all of them have Pisoni pads. Pisoni pads. And I usually when they're mentioning Pisoni pads, usually it's like a different type of it's more your common, I think, flute key pads. Specifically, they're also basically telling you these are not Straubinger pads. Okay, Straubinger is like its own thing. It's its own kind of area of pads, of flute pads, flute key pads. And then let's see, not all of them have pointed key arms, but they are all standard tubing, 0.016 inch standard tubing. Okay, we're gonna have to let me. There we go. Okay. What else do they have? They're all A equals 442. They are all offset G, and they all have B foot mechanism. Okay, so these are the general specs that we have going on here for these Northbridge flutes. By the way, guys, I decided to just do the notes like this and just scroll for you guys, because I do know that some of you guys watch these live streams on like mobile, and if I were to go like full crazy with my notes, I think that you guys won't be able to read it. So this is how we're doing it. Okay, now let's write out the specs for the different series. So we have the 500 series. This one specifically, the model is Northbridge 5BEF OSE. So I think it's like B foot, split E, offset G, something like that. I think that's what a bunch of those letters mean. But this one in particular has, oh, right, wait a second. There's another big general spec that they have, which is they all have a handmade sterling silver Chris McKenna head joint. Okay, wonderful. And then for the 500 series, we have, let's see, it is silver plated body and mechanism. We have pointed key arms. And then everything else is the same. Okay, then we have the 600 series. So this is Northbridge. In particular, the one we're looking at today is the 6 BEFOSE. This one has sterling silver body, silver plated mechanism. We have Y key arms. This is the interesting one. And then, yeah, I think the rest of it is the same. Then we have a 700 series. This one is Northbridge 7 BEF OSE C sharp. So you guys can kind of see how these letters work, right? Like they're referring to all different specs that are on the flute. So this one is sterling silver body, silver plated mechanism, French open hole. We know that they're all open hole, right? Did I put that in here? No. Well, they're all French open hole. And then let's see. This one is pointed key arms. Key arms. And this one has the C sharp trill key. Trill. Okay. All right. So is this clear for everyone? So we're on, these are the general specs. Here we go. Oh, I see. You guys cannot actually read that. Let me make that. There we go. Okay. So here we go. General specs: handmade sterling silver, Chris McKenna head joint, drawn tone holes, French open hole, Pisoni pads, standard tubing, A equals 442, offset GB foot. And then, wait, another one is that they all have split E mechanism. Right? They all do. Yes. Split E mechanism. See, this is why we check our work, okay? This is what you learn in school, is to check your work, okay? Here we go. Yeah, so these are our general specs here. And then we have, in particular, the 3 that we're looking at is a 500 series, which has silver-plated body mechanism and pointed key arms. 600 series that has sterling silver body, silver-plated mechanism, and Y key arms. And then the 700 series is sterling silver body, silver-plated mechanism, pointed key arms, and C-sharp trill. So very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, here we go. So I think what we'll start with is the 500 series. I think that makes the most sense. There we go. That looks cleaner. Okay. So what are you guys thinking? Hello, Jimmy. Welcome back. Wonderful, wonderful. Excellent. You guys are on the same page as me. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to do just a little bit of research, okay? Because I kind of want to see what Northbridge has to say about themselves. And also, the name Chris McKenna is like stuck in my head. So I kind of want to see what is going on here. So, okay. So I'm on the northbridgewins.com site, specifically on their flute page. So let's see. Making the step up to a musical instrument offering professional features is an important decision for all musicians. Okay, so what they are doing is creating a whole bunch of fantastic step-up flutes to choose from, which is exactly what we see here with these specs. These are really fantastic. So all Northbridge flutes feature sterling silver head joint handmade in the USA by flute artisan Chris McKenna. So let's see. McKennaFlutes.com. Whoa. Okay, so if you guys want to check out Chris McKenna, you guys can go to mckennaflutes.com. I'll put that here too, in case you guys want to check it out. He has some pretty cool flutes right up in the front. Looks like he does like all sorts of really interesting flutes. Wow, this is very cool. Yeah, he does all sorts of flutes. What the heck? That's so cool. Yo, this is awesome. Okay. Okay, very cool. This is very cool. No wonder I know the name Chris McKenna. I was just like, I feel like I've just like heard this name a lot. This is fantastic. Very cool. Okay. And then, so let's see. The McKenna head joint is designed and crafted to be both responsive and flexible while offering superb projection and control. So responsive, flexible, projection, control, making it easier to hit high notes and perform at softer volumes. Okay, got it. So we're looking at control here. Okay, very cool. Yeah, all of these come with French style case with a nylon case cover. Wonderful. Interesting. So here they say that pointed key arms allow for a lighter touch and keep your flute in better adjustment than Y arms. Discriminating flutists will appreciate the subtle differences in response and aesthetics. Yeah. I think that depends on the player, if I'm being completely honest. But generally speaking, I personally do notice that pointed key arm flutes tend to be flutes that are just straight up made better by the flute maker. You know, like if they're going to pay enough attention to detail where they are going to be like looking at whether you're using Y arms or pointed key arms. You know, like you just know that the flute itself is made very well, but that's not to say that their flutes with the Y arms are worse in any case at all. Like yeah, it's more that if they offer pointed key arms, normally you're going to see a much better made flute because they know that kind of detail. Does that make sense to you guys? At least that's how I experience it. Hey, John, how are you? Hey, Greg, how are you? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I also had not heard of Northbridge until, wait, I think I heard of them once because I think a student asked me about it. I'm pretty sure a student asked me about it. And then, it was like months after that the Flute Center started carrying Northbridge, and then asked me if I wanted to do a live stream on it. So, very cool. Oh, hey, their site has a little bit more information. So the 500 series, the flute body tube country of origin is Japan. For the 600 and 700 series, the flute body country of origin is Taiwan. So, and they're all three of these are assembled in Taiwan, and they're tested and adjusted in the US when they come over. That makes sense. Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, see, this is why you do a little bit of research when you're trying some flutes to see what they're about. All right. Wonderful. Let's see. Is there... Okay, so really the main point, by the way, I'll give you their here. This is the other website I was looking at. So if you guys go there, oh, it has to be .html. Yeah. Okay. You guys can't just go to you guys you have to type in HTML. Okay. So those are the two websites I was looking at. So you guys can go take a look as well and read up on what they're about. So we are looking at Step Up Flutes today. Honestly, for a very reasonable price. These are very, very reasonable prices. Like I feel like these are prices that I absolutely could afford when I was in university, and they would definitely carry me through university, I think. There's just so many more choices these days than when I was in school. Interesting. So Mandy says that even though you prefer more tension on your keys, you now know you prefer pointed arms. Interesting. That's super interesting. So, oh, and Michael, I like to ask the Flute Center to surprise me with flutes, because I like to walk in not knowing what's being handed to me. I actually really like that feeling. And just kind of like exploring with you guys. So, okay, shall we? Let's now open these guys up. Looks like they have been labeled. So we will start with the 500 series. Yes, sounds good. So we're going to put these two off to the side. And we'll start with this 500 series. Okay, here we go. Here they are. Let's open this guy up. Nice and plush. I love it. This is a very, very standard setup for a French style case. Looks very professional. Even on a step-up flute. So this is really fantastic. Ooh, very pretty. It looks very professional, guys. See the like pointed key arms and stuff? Here, let's do a closer. I'll bring it up to you guys so you guys can see. Give me a second here. Oh, it doesn't like it. Doesn't like it. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. So you guys can see how nice that looks. Yeah, I love it. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. This is the rest of the body. Very nicely made. Yeah, looks great. Beautiful. I do like how high up, I don't know, you guys can see how high up that B flat lever is. It's really good if you're learning, because a lot of people will hit this without realizing it, because on a lot of professional flutes, this B flat lever is really low. And a lot of people just don't even notice it. So for a step-up flute to have this higher up is really fantastic, because it's really, really good for learning how to maneuver around it and onto it. Yeah, good stuff. The trill keys are also, they look really huge to me. Again, really fantastic for when you're learning, because then making them bigger makes it so that it's easier for you to find them. I like that. That's really fantastic. I'm also noticing that the G sharp key here is kind of closer, actually. This must be really comfortable for me. Oh my goodness, that's really comfortable. Yeah, so usually this G sharp key is not quite so close and like kind of like bent this way. Usually it's a little further away. Let me get my flute to compare, because this to me is striking me as like very like, whoa, they've really like brought it out here. So I think this really has like probably a younger student in mind, or at least someone with smaller hands is what I'm thinking. Let me get my flute out. Give me a sec, guys. Hi. So let's see what my flute has. Yeah. It's subtle, but I notice it. I will show you guys this one. So this is my flute. So you can see how my flute, do you see how it's angled more outward this way? Whereas this one, do you guys see the difference? Like this one is closer and further to further this way. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, like normally you see it more angled out like on my flute, but this one is definitely closer in. So definitely will be easier for someone with smaller hands to grab this G sharp key. Very cool. Very, very cool. Definitely a lot of attention to detail. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So yeah, it's great for shorter pinky fingers. I feel like in my opinion, just looking at it, you can tell that it really is very carefully designed for someone with smaller hands. Here we go. Let me make this focus correctly again. There we go. Yeah. So that's really cool. What else do I notice? I am noticing that this gizmo key is also not crazy high, which is fantastic. Again, it's really good for small hands. Everything is for small hands, guys. I'm just trying to get this to focus again. It's actually really hard to focus. There we go. But you guys can see that this gizmo key is not very high up. This is considered not very high up. A lot of times you'll actually see the gizmo key even higher. So this is really fantastic, again, for small hands. Because otherwise it's a crazy reach. That's awesome. Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. Let's get back out here. Okay. Well, now that we have finished oogling the flute, we're now going to play it a bit. Here we go. Ooh, actually I need to, we need to oogle more. We're oogling more, guys. We're oogling. Okay, so this is the head joint. What I'm immediately noticing is how square this is. This is an insanely square cut. I don't know if you guys can see just how insanely square that is. I need to cover this up. There we go. I'm just gonna, you know what? We're gonna do this. Then maybe it'll realize that we should focus here. Okay, here. So, do you guys see how square that is? That is actually insanely square. Like, for a flute kite, it literally looks like it has corners. So yeah, this is going to, yeah, it's essentially going to like give an edge to your sound by default. Definitely will make it easier to play. And also I'm noticing just in general that the lip hole is huge. So I think this thing can probably take a lot of air too. So that's just my suspicion. But you guys notice how thick this looks? I feel like the lip plate is just very thick. Good stuff. All right. Okay, are we done oogling yet? Does the square cut affect things? Well, basically everything I just said. It definitely like kind of when you want that sweet sound, usually flutes with a more oval cut give you a sweeter sound by default. A square cut gives you more projection and like volume, if that makes sense. There's also a bit of more of a natural edge to your sound. Very cool. Okay. All right. Let me bring my pedal here. Okay. Yeah, it can take a lot of air. I can already tell. Hey, Sean. Yeah, that takes a lot of air. My initial reaction is that I am like, my Airstream, I'm used to it being more like this shape. I have to play like this all the time. So if you have a very wide Airstream, you're gonna love this. Yeah. Very wide. Extremely wide Airstream. I'm totally overshooting. Sorry, guys. I'm totally overshooting this pinky key. It's very funny. I'm like, oh, I don't have to reach so far. Yeah. Getting your high notes is very, very easy. That was a high C that I overblew on a low C fingering. That's incredible. Now what I am noticing is that this is a very forward playing flute, which is, this is not a combination I'm really used to. I'm not used to that really wide Airstream, wide and flat Airstream, but it's like in the front half of my mouth. Now, I have a very small mouth. I have a literal child-sized mouth. So when I go to the dentist and I get my x-ray, I actually have to request the child-sized x-ray tabs to bite down on. All right. And even on me, this is very forward playing. This might be actually one of the reasons why the high notes are so easy to play. It's because it's so forward. A lot of us, when we push our air really fast, our initial instinct is to push it in a more forward position, like in a more front position in our mouth rather than from the back. Now, on most flutes, what you're essentially doing is that the higher you go, the further in the back of the mouth you have to like resonate the air. You have to kind of feel it vibrating in a certain point in your mouth, and as you go higher, that point should get higher and further back in the mouth. On this one, it doesn't go very far back. It actually surprisingly feels kind of like, in terms of like how far back I'm going, it feels like my flute. It feels like my professional flute. And so this is something I am very comfortable with because I only have to go maybe like halfway back into the mouth, even for the highest notes. Pretty interesting. This is very incredible. I feel like you don't normally feel this, especially on a step-up flute. This is a silver head with a silver-plated body. So interesting. Which, by the way, there. Okay, a little bit more testing. There. You too, Deanna, for the dental x-ray tabs. Yeah, there are dozens of us out there. Dozens. Okay, I take it back. I take it back. It doesn't even go as far back as the middle of the mouth for that high note. It's only a third the way in. It's not very far in at all. So the range of movement is actually very, very small. Very, very small. And I think it has to do with the fact that this is a very good head joint. I think so. Okay. I think we have a pretty good idea of like how this plays now. I'm just gonna write it in here. Very wide, flat airstream. Range of very front playing. Range of movement. Very small. Very, very small. There. Yeah. So okay, I do need to test how far forward it goes, though. So I feel it resonating right between the lips. It's not that far forward. There are some flutes where you almost feel it resonating outside, but this one is definitely resonating between the lips. It's like right between them. So the range of movement is very small. Your lowest note, the B, is just resonating between the lips, and then your highest note is only resonating a third the way back. It's like under my nose. And guys, I don't have a very big nose, but I feel like I'm just resonating it the highest note right under my nose. So for my mouth, only about a third the way in. Interesting. I don't know about that, Deanna. If my nerves are 4 millimeters off from where they normally are too. That's so, I've never looked into that. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Range of movement, very, very small. Interesting. Okay. So let's see what is the next thing I should probably do. I mean, we have a pretty rough idea of how this flute likes to be played now, which is pretty cool. But I think what I'm going to do is look at my old notes to see what we are dealing with here. So harmonics, okay. Let's look at tone color then. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Okay. We'll do the higher one. Okay. I know exactly what they are talking about now. You know how earlier I read out that they said that, where is it? I'm looking at their website right now. There's like a specific thing they were saying. Let me find it, guys. Yes. The McKenna head joint is designed and crafted to be both responsive and flexible while offering superb projection and control, making it easier to hit high notes and perform at softer volumes. So we figured out why it's easier to hit higher notes, and it's because it doesn't go as far back in the mouth. That's what makes it easier to hit higher notes on this flute. The reason why that is easier, if you guys can imagine trying to blow really, really fast airstream, but while like warming up your hands, going like that. If you try to like blow warm air on your hands, but as fast as possible, it's really hard, right? But it's a lot easier to blow really fast air, but cool air. If you go, that's a lot easier to do, because when you're blowing cool air, you're actually resonating your air essentially more forward in the mouth than warm air, which is further back in the mouth. So that's why it's easier to play high notes on this, because this head joint actually makes it so that you are resonating your high notes more in the front of your mouth. Therefore, it is easier. Now, I have also found out, just from doing that test on the tone colors, why it's easier to perform at softer volumes. So a lot of people will probably have noticed this, that the flute is not really good at dynamics. Just going to put that out there, okay? The flute is not very good at dynamics. Historically, we have not been very good at dynamics. The predecessor to this flute, basically the Baroque flute, could not play really higher than a mezzo piano. Really, it's a very, very weak instrument. Is it beautiful? Yes, freaking love it. Okay, I fell in love with the Baroque flute when I was in school, but it could really only play from like pianissimo to like mezzo piano, maybe mezzo piano plus. The flute that we have now is more powerful and louder than that now, but compared to other instruments, our range of dynamics is very, very small, like extremely small. Now you guys are probably wondering why I'm talking about dynamics when I tested tone color. Well, it's because one of the ways to fake dynamics is to use tone color. because a richer tone color will always read as louder, even though if you measure it, it probably is not actually that much louder. And a hollower, wispier, kind of thinner tone color will always read as softer. Now, what's interesting about this flute, as I noted already, is that the Airstream by default, if you just want to get like your default full sound on this flute, is already incredibly wide. Therefore, if you just go like this, which like this shape of your Airstream, I would say is typical of most silver flutes, all right? This shape is typical. Just going to the typical shape will already yield that hollower tone, that like thinner tone. So this shape, if I played this shape on my flute, it already sounds richer than your kind of middle of the road sound. But on this flute, it's already hollow, like already. So what most people find very difficult is that because usually your Airstream shape is more or less like this shape, this kind of bean shape. And so most people find it difficult to make that narrower and taller, like more circular, almost oval shape, like vertically, to get a hollow sound on your typical flute. Getting that hollow sound is quite the challenge. It usually is easier to go the flatter, wider route, to go richer. That way is usually easier to train than it is to go the opposite way. So with this flute, since you're already starting with a super, super wide, flat Airstream, you only need to just kind of like very slightly make your Airstream a little taller and a little narrower. You're just kind of scrunching everything, you're kind of smooshing everything in. And then you're basically getting to almost how you would normally play on a silver flute. And that's already a hollow sound, which reads as softer. So you can go even, if you have the flexibility to go even narrower and taller with your Airstream shape, you can go even softer. So let's try that out. So that is your like typical sound. You guys hear how hollow that sounds? Like that shape is what I normally put on a silver flute to play, and it usually will have that first sound that you hear. Isn't that wild? Woo! I really like that. So that the sound I did at the end there was perfectly circular. Like a perfectly circular. Oh, okay, all right. Give me a second, guys. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry about that, guys. Give me a second. I'll need to hide that for a hot second. Okay, so yeah, so now that I'm playing with a super circular sound, it's so like thin that there's like an edge to the thin sound, which is you normally can't quite get to that point before it disappears on a flute. But because we're starting really flat and wide, we can. I'm making it really small too, so that's the dynamic part. Yeah, you usually can't get to that thin a sound before it just disappears. That is really cool. That is actually really cool. Yeah, crisp. That's a really good way of describing it. It's hard to get to a hollow sound that sounds crisp. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. All right. So that is why they're saying that it can perform really well at softer volumes. It's because you're starting with that crazy wide airstream as your like default sound. And so it's really easy to get to a crisp, soft, wispy, hollow, thin sound. That's really interesting. Wow. Wow. Is it a little disconcerting? It is, isn't it? It's cool. I really like that sound. Okay, that's essentially tone, color, and dynamics on this thing. I think that's what this does very well. Let's check the mechanism now, guys. Kind of our typical. Very bouncy, has a little bit of resistance, so it does have that step up feel. Sorry guys, wrong microphone. So this definitely has the step up feel where there's like a little bit of resistance, a good amount of bounce, and so it will actually smooth out some of your technique for you. It will. So, not yet. Write a bit more in the chat, guys. Sorry, wrong mic. Oh, okay, in thirds. Yeah. It is exactly what I am feeling. It will actually very subtly smooth out your technique for you. Because it's not moving quite as fast as like on a higher, like a more professional level flute that will be more sensitive, if that makes sense. It's nice. It's nice. It has a good amount of bounce. I like the bounce. The resistance is a little more than I would like because I want it to be more sensitive to me, but that's just me. but very good for step up. Very even. Yeah. Even the B flat lever is not floppy. Yeah, I like it. It's not floppy. The trill keys are nice and bouncy. Not resistant. Like there's a little bit of resistance, but they're nice and bouncy. They're very responsive. Okay, so you can hear that the high C is definitely improved with the gizmo. And it's so interesting. The gizmo is also not floppy. They have really taken the care to make every key have almost the same resistance. Yeah. Like there's just a few keys here and there that very subtly it's like a tiny bit more resistant here and there, but not by much. It's only because I've been doing this for a while. But yeah, it's very good. How would I compare it to the Trevor James flute? Very similar. Very similar. The key action feels very similar. It's kind of your typical high quality step up feel, you know? Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. So let's see. Articulation. Let's check articulation. Sorry, guys. I had to do it a couple of times because I wasn't really happy with how it sounded. That last time was sounding better to me. We're going to try double tonguing too before I talk. Okay. I get it. So this is interesting because I personally am used to having my tongue ride a little higher in my mouth. But for this one, what I'm noticing is that even when you're tonguing, you have to tongue very low in the mouth, at least compared to most other flutes that I'm used to. So the tongue needs to sit, at least in my mouth, it's like at the bottom of my front teeth. Like it's like just behind, but like at the bottom of my front teeth. I'm more used to tonguing sort of in the middle of my front teeth or like where the teeth meets the gums. But I'm noticing that even when I hit high notes, I am still more so in the bottom part of my front teeth. It's very interesting. I am straight up noticing that, like, for the lowest notes, I feel like it almost feels like I'm tonguing against my lower teeth. Like, that's how low it is. And my suspicion is that it's probably to do with the fact that the airstream has to be so flat and so wide. I feel like if I tongue too high, it obstructs too much of the airstream, I think. So I think that's why, like, I can feel that if I were to play with like more of that crisper tone, I probably can afford to tongue a little higher. We'll test that right now. Carl, thank you so much. Sending love from Beijing. From Beijing? Amazing. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So if you want that rich sound, you have to tongue low. So, it's very interesting. So I do actually think that's what makes tonguing the high notes easier too. Because one of the things that I do find pretty difficult to train flutists to do is to train them to tongue further back and higher, like basically against the roof of your mouth, for the highest notes. And for this one, your tongue is still pretty darn low on your front teeth. And that is definitely easier to do. That's super interesting. Wow. That's super interesting. Yeah, it's really low. That's so weird, man. I like it. Yeah, it's easier. Yeah. Yeah, because you don't have to tongue. It's not as like, I feel like as you're going up and down like that, it's harder to make yourself go up and down according, like, you know, to hit different parts of your mouth according to which note in which register you're playing. But then with this one, you can just lay low and it just kind of does it. So interesting. Interesting. So I will put here very low tonguing. Bottom of front teeth. Yeah, oh, that's so cool. That is very cool. I just kind of need a moment to, like, let that sink in, that someone made a flute that could do all this. This is very cool. Ah, you're finding low tonguing is hard? That's interesting. Yeah. So, you know, goes to show, definitely try flutes before you guys purchase them, okay? Because there can be things like this where maybe your mouth just doesn't want to do the tonguing that the flute wants you to do. Is it because of the way the head joint is engineered? I would not be surprised if that is the case. I would not be surprised, but I don't know for sure. Yeah. I need a moment to think about it, guys. That is wild to me. That is so wild to me. Wow. Okay. Well, we've pretty much exhausted the 500 series now. So I think it's time for us to move on to the 600 series. Let's clean this baby up. And then we'll take out the other flute. Wow. Okay. So I am now wondering what happens when you add more silver to basically this setup, because that's essentially what we're looking at. We're looking at the same flute, but with silver silver body and Y key arms. Oh my goodness. Do we need to take a quick intermission? I honestly would love that. That would be fantastic. Why don't I finish cleaning up this in front of you guys, and then let's take a quick intermission, because I am noticing I'm getting a little bit of dry mouth because I'm talking so much. So I'm going to finish my water after I'm done doing this, and then I'm going to go grab more water. We'll take a little break and we'll come back. Does that sound good? I like that idea. Thank you, Deanna. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to put on a little ad. I'm going to manually insert an ad for you guys. Because like I didn't want the ads to randomly go while I'm doing this. But you know, having the some breaks in between would make it perfect for me to put in a few ads. Oh. Wow. I can't believe someone made a flute like this. I might try out Tumnus's Lullaby on maybe on some of the other flutes. We'll see. It's just that I think that the little pieces that I tried out today really kind of show off what this flute can do, you know. Ooh, Viva, you found your flute magically at your local music store. Isn't that the best? That is the best. I know, you know, like, never judge a flute that's silver plated these days, guys. Don't do it, because they are like, they can be made very well these days. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, you know, it's just silver plated. And no, you guys can hear the quality, right? It's quality. It's very good. Very well made. Oh, by the way, guys, it does come with a wooden, whatchamacallit, cleaning rod and their own microfiber polishing cloth. Good stuff. I love it when step-up flutes just straight up are packaged and look exactly like a professional flute. Makes me very happy. Okay, I'm going to bring out the 600 series here for you guys. I'll keep it open and we're going to go on a little ad break. I'm going to finish my water. So I might be 2-3 minutes, okay? And then we will have some fun with the 600 series one. Sound good? All right, I'll be back, guys. let me put us on the break screen. See you in a bit. Hello, hello. Um, Before we continue, I just want to ask if people are back from the ad break. So let me know if we're all here. Um, let's see. Sarah, I just wanted to give a little shout out to you. Thank you so much for watching my videos. When you're 15, that's amazing. And you're 23 now. Oh my gosh. I feel like I grew up with a lot of you guys, you know? Okay, yeah, okay, you guys are here. Wonderful. Cool. I just want to make sure that you guys are done watching the ads before I continue. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. Great. Okay. Malika, oh, hello. Oh, it's so good to see you in the chat. How are you? All right. That was very needed. Holy crap. I didn't realize how much I really needed to down some water. So I think we're going to do a very similar thing. If I go for like another hour, I'm going to just go grab some extra water very quickly. Okay, you guys are here. Great. Good, good, good. Ads are done for you guys. Wonderful. Perfect. I think we'll do it like this, guys. Like when we have longer streams like this, we'll all go on a break. I'll put on some ads, and then, you know, we can all grab a drink, go to the bathroom, come back, relax. We're good to go, you know. Getting ready for a recital. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Oh, great, 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 great. Okay. Now, shall we continue? So for those of you guys who are dropping in, we are continuing with our Flute Center sponsored review of Northbridge Flutes. We just spent the first long time of this stream kind of looking at what Northbridge Flutes are about, and then we tried out the 500 series one, and we're trying to see why all the things that they talk about are true. In particular, just a quick recap, we have found out that the reason why it is easier to hit high notes on this head joint, this Chris McKenna head joint, is that the range of motion is very, very small. So that means that you don't have to go as far back in the mouth to resonate the high notes. And so they are easier to play. It's basically the difference of how much easier it is to get fast air out when you're blowing cool air versus if you're blowing warm air, which is further back in the mouth, right? So it's much easier to do it in the front of the mouth. And because you are actually resonating the notes further front in the mouth, even the high notes, they're much easier to play. They also claimed that you can play softly with a lot of control, and we figured out why, and that is because you start out there, your default sound on the flute requires, on these Northbridge flutes, requires a very wide airstream. So it's very easy to make your airstream just a little bit narrower and taller, just a little bit, and you're already going to get that really crisp, soft, like thinner, hollow, wispy sound, you know? Like, so we have found, we've essentially proven that their claims are true, which is really cool. And now we're going to see what is different with the 600 series. So the 600 series has these specific specs that I've written in the notes here that make it different from the other ones. So this one has, whereas the 500 series had a sterling silver head, but a silver plated body, this one has a sterling silver body with silver plated mechanism. So the silver plated mechanism does bring down the cost a lot. That's one of the reasons for getting silver plated mechanism. Because really the mechanism itself will not really affect the tone of the flute, because it's the mechanism, it's the key action essentially. So it's not the tube itself. And this one has Y arms on it, which is very cool. It's very nostalgic looking for me. I'll show you guys here. So you guys can see that even on the keys where we're not pressing down, like this one, it looks exactly like the other keys. So there's no little pointed arm on them. This is nostalgic to me because my first two flutes look like this. So yeah, it's a very, very, very nostalgic look. But I'll show you guys a nice close-up. So we're going to have to deal with getting this to focus again. So if you guys will... Oh, wow, it decided to do it very quickly this time. Okay, so now you guys can see how lovely that looks. Y arms. So I am noticing on this one that compared to the 500, this B flat lever is lower down. So it's lower down. But I think that this can be adjusted. So if you personally want this to be higher or lower, you can probably just ask your flute technician to like bend it higher or bend it lower. But yeah, this one in particular, I am noticing is a little bit lower than on the 500. Otherwise, pretty much the same, except that it has Y arms instead of pointed. Very cool. I believe that the head joint is exactly the same, but we'll take a look at it anyway. It forgot to, there we go. So yeah, it's exactly the same. You can see how wonderfully rectangular that is. That is insanely rectangular. Like, holy crap. Very large lip hole as well. Very, very large. It's good stuff. Then we have, this is not closed hole. This is open hole. It's just that the holes are plugged. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to make this. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this is the B foot joint, as you can see. Y arms again. Very shiny, shiny, shiny. Yep, I'm noticing as well. Yep, gizmo key, just like the other one. It's exactly the same. Nice and lowered down. It's a good amount of bounce and resistance to that too. Yeah. Here. I'll show this to you again so you guys can see that there are actually plugs in here. Yeah, you guys can see that, right? See the plugs? Those are plugs. There you go. Yeah, now you guys can see that they're plugs. Yeah. Beauty. All right. So this is definitely packaged the same way as the other flute as well. So it looks like it's the exact same case and all the same stuff that they give, cleaning rod and all that stuff. Yeah, so okay, let's give this a whirl. I'm gonna see how this one is different. I'm gonna guess it will play very similarly though, but we'll mostly focus on the differences that we feel. All right, here we go. Yeah, again, you can see that the G sharp key really comes out closer. It's the same design as the 500 series one. Okay, let's give this a whirl. it's different. I'm still figuring it out. All right, let me do it again. Okay. The wheels are turning in my head, but I still need to mess around a little bit more. Okay, I'm trying to figure out that highest note. I'm not resonating it where it needs to be resonated, and I'm trying to find it right now. So I'm kind of going down through the other harmonics to see if I can establish some sort of pattern. And then I'm guesstimating where that highest one needs to be. So, Okay, not quite where I was wondering if maybe that highest note is kind of the weak point of the flute, but that doesn't make sense because the high notes are supposed to be the strong point of this flute. So I am still figuring it out. Arnav, hello, welcome. How are you doing? Is this making you guys feel less like a failure? Guys, like, this is why I've always wanted to like live stream my reviews, because I want you guys to see me like figuring it out, you know? Okay. Here's what I'll say for now is that surprisingly, the Airstream is not very wide. It's more what I would very typically expect of a silver flute. So I wonder if it was the nickel content in the 500 series that was causing it to be really, 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 really wide. So we're back to more that bean shape, you know? That's what I can tell you guys right now. So let me mess with it a little bit more. Yeah. It's still very forward, like very forward playing. That part has not changed. Okay. 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 Okay, I think we figured it out. Interesting. That is really interesting. I'm gonna go back and mess a little bit more before I talk. Okay, I'm right. This flute is even more forward and has an even smaller range of movement than the 500 series. Okay. Even smaller range of movement. So that highest C, usually I feel that highest C resonating on my flute about midway into my mouth. I am feeling it resonate like, I'm not joking, in front of my teeth. So the range of movement in terms of like where I'm resonating the notes, the lowest note is approximately in the same place that the 500 series was. So it's like between the lips, and it only goes really like just a tiny bit, like it's still moving in sort of this upward diagonal kind of thing, like kind of movement, but it only goes as high as like around here. And like, I'm actually feeling it resonating in front of my teeth. Like, that is the tiniest range of movement. I don't know if I've ever tried a flute with a tinier range of movement. That is an insanely tiny range of movement. So this is like uber front playing. Uber front playing. It's like basically everything is in front of your teeth. That is actually insane. So of course it's going to make your high notes extremely easy to come out because again, it is easier to blow a high speed of air from the front of your mouth than it is from the back of the mouth, right? Yeah, and then those notes will just come right out. Okay, that's fun. And yes, I have been streaming for 2 hours, and I'm probably going to keep going for a little longer. These review streams always go pretty long because I let myself take my time figuring these out. Man. Okay, well, let's try out tone, color, and dynamics. I stream for days! Okay. That's really cool. So that's like that is a very, very tiny airstream, like very tiny airstream and very circular. And it's not losing it. This is particularly interesting because I don't feel that my airstream can go very wide on this. So I'll show you guys what happens when you go really wide on this. It can't take it. You guys hear that? Like it just completely cracks, but that's how I was playing on the 500 series. And this can't do it. So that's actually too wide. So that's why I was saying that your default sound is actually more your typical kind of like bean-shaped airstream. So typical bean-shaped airstream. That's for silvers, that is. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. This is very interesting. So I do think that you can get even tinier and smaller on this one than the 500. So technically speaking, the high notes are even easier on this one by virtue of them being even more forward in the mouth. And also it's easier to hold a tiny circular airstream for something soft and thin and crispy. It's so interesting. You guys hear that crisp? It's so crispy. Yeah. it doesn't lose it when you go really, really tiny and small. I could definitely this one I could do it more than on the 500. So if anything, I think this is actually a preference thing. Because some people's Airstream will naturally be wider than others, and you will find this very difficult to play, but you'll find the 500 very easy to play. However, if you have a narrower Airstream naturally and you don't go very wide, or you find it very difficult to go very wide with your Airstream, you're gonna find the 500 very difficult to play. So based on how these play, even though this one is all silver and then the other one is a silver plated body, I still think it's a preference thing. I don't actually think that it's just an upgrade thing, you know? Because there will definitely be people who prefer the way the 500 plays more than the 600. And then there will be people who prefer the way the 600 plays more than the 500. Did I do all the flute? No, this is only the second one. I have a third one, Chris. for those of you guys who are wondering who Ice EVV is, he's a friend in real life. He's a friend of mine in real life. and I welcome the trolling from him. So, okay. This is very interesting. So you can't go very wide on this. I just tested it out right now. You can only go just a hair wider than your default kind of like rich tone on here. You can't go like crazy. You guys heard what happens if you guys go really wide. It just like cracks and just it can't take it. So very good for people who don't naturally have a very wide Airstream, I think. Flat and wide. When's the next Genshin stream? Man, I've been wanting to, guys, but I've been catching up with life. I am gonna be taking a week off for American Thanksgiving next week, so there might be some next week. There might not be. I am planning for that to happen, the Genshin streams to they're probably gonna happen in December though, because December is when I take a lot of time off. I don't teach in December. So yeah. Tony Ramberg, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for catching the stream. And we're all really glad you're here. Yeah, I know. I have heard it's amazing. I have heard that the Genshin story is amazing, and I've been really wanting to like spend some time on it and for you guys to see my reaction to it, but life, man. So I'm waiting until I have some time off to do it. Okay. Back to this. Let's see. Tone color dynamics mechanism. Okay. Let's see how the mechanism holds up. I'm moving too much. I have to remind myself not to actually move that point where I'm resonating the note too much. I'm doing it. It's so hard to keep it in like essentially one place. There it is. Okay. I see Tony is also a Genshin player. What, you know, I'm starting to realize now that I am streaming Genshin, I'm realizing that a ton of my viewers play Genshin. Who knew? Okay. I'm so used to moving around so much that it's, wow, it's actually difficult for me to stay in one spot. Woo, it sounds good when I do it though. Okay, I think it feels, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, it feels exactly like the 500. Everything. B flat lever, the trill keys, the gizmo, the key action being bouncy, and with a tad bit of resistance. So it helps kind of even out your technique for you a little bit. It feels exactly the same. Yeah. Okay. I will say if you're doing the E-Bear though, you can feel a difference. It's just the tiniest hair. Just the tiniest hair less responsive than pointed key arms. Like a hair. But if you're not playing the E-Bear, you will not notice a difference. I think. Yeah. Okay. I think if you're playing literally anything else though, like anything that's like not at the level of the E-Bear, you're not going to feel a difference. Okay, I feel a tiny difference. The pointed key arms does feel a little better. just a little. Just it's the tiniest bit. Like if you like if you're not doing a lot of these kinds of like really like fiddly fingerings, you're probably not going to notice. Okay, that's my stance on that. But let me play for you guys. Oh, I forgot to change the microphone anyway. Ooh, that gizmo really helps. The gizmo makes a huge difference on this flute. Ah, interesting. Okay. Articulation now. Oh, this is going to be so interesting. It's essentially going to be, I think, in the same spot. So weird. That sounded better, didn't it? Do you guys notice that that one sounded better? Do you know why? It's because I kept my tongue in the same spot. We have finally found the flute where the tongue stays in the same spot. It's like basically the bottom of your front teeth, and it just stays there. It just stays there. There's still a little bit of movement up and down on the 500 series. So as you go higher, it goes like your tongue needs to go a little higher. And then as it goes lower, your tongue needs to go lower. This one, like I have to force myself to stay just at the bottom of my front teeth. That is crazy. This is actually crazy. I need to do it again. It's the same spot. We have found the flute where the tongue doesn't move. Tongue doesn't move. It's just at the bottom of front teeth. That is wild. I like need a moment. Yeah, it's easier for someone learning. So like this is fantastic for as a step up flute, right? Because then you wouldn't have to complicate tonguing. You know, you can just learn double tonguing without also learning how to do it, how to move your tongue forward and back, depending on what note you're playing. So it's great for training, I would say. But if I'm being completely real with you guys, as a professional player, it feels a little bit limiting. But fantastic to learn on. How important is it to learn tongue? Very. If you're doing classical flute, it is very important to learn it because it kind of gives a lot of like the way you tongue something and how you tongue it, like, you know, double tonguing, etc. Not only does it make it easier for you to play things, but the way that you tongue things and the way that you articulate things can give a lot of charm to the piece. You know, like the piece will sound very different if you tongue everything versus if you if you slur everything, or you know, you do 2 slur 2 tongued, or 2 tongued 2 slurred, or 3 slurred 1 tongued. All those different articulation combinations creates a very different like kind of musical feeling to it. And so if you don't know how to tongue, and if you don't know how to double tongue, that really limits you in terms of how much you can express in classical music. Now, from what I hear, maybe not quite so important for other genres of music, which is totally valid and totally fair, but I am a classically trained flutist, so I will say that at least for classical flute music, it is very important to learn tonguing. Yeah. Is there more than what might be in a lesson book? Yes. Because everybody's mouth is different. So it's very important to work with your mouth to find out how you naturally tongue, match you to a flute that will match the way that you tongue. As you can see, even between the 500 and the 600 series of these Northbridge flutes, they're already tonguing very differently, and they behave very differently. tips on double tonguing. So I'll give you guys a really quick tip to train yourselves to do double tonguing so that it sounds good on the flute. You want to single tongue on your hand. It's so that you can feel how it feels to do single tongue. Then you do that, but do double tonguing. So go 2 ku, okay? But you want to make sure that your 2 kus on your hand, the puffs of air, feel exactly the same as the puffs of air when you are single tonguing. So if your 2 kus puffs of air feel exactly the same as your your single tonguing puffs of air, then it'll sound the same on the flute. The other thing is to make sure that your K doesn't go too far back in your mouth. So especially if you are, if you live in North America. In North America, we tend to pronounce our Ks very far back in the mouth. But when you're doing double tonguing, the K should actually hit about the middle of the roof of the mouth. It should not go all the way back into the throat. So those are your 2 big tips. I feel comfortable sharing that with you guys because it's such a general tip, like 2 general tips that like it tends to help everyone. So there you go. Okay. All right. Well, that was fun. We have 1 more to go. Jackie, yes, these are Northbridge flutes. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining in. So while I clean up this flute and I move on to the 700 series, let's do a recap because we have some people joining in right now. So what we're looking at here are Northbridge flutes with they're actually pretty much like professional head joint made by Chris McKenna. And these Northbridge flutes are designed to be fantastic intermediate step-up flutes. And oh boy, I can definitely tell they are definitely made with the student in mind, and they're made very well with the student in mind. Like they're designed with the student in mind, which is fantastic. And in particular, what's very interesting about these flutes is that the 500 series, and I will scroll up so you can see my notes on the 500 series. So the 500 series has a silver head with a silver plated body and mechanism. And what's very interesting is that it utilizes a very wide, very flat airstream, like extremely flat, extremely wide. It is while also being very front playing. So you mostly resonate the notes in the front of the mouth. So for the 500, it was essentially from right between like your lowest note, you could feel it sort of vibrating between the lips. And then your highest note, I could feel it vibrating around my teeth. Maybe a little bit further back, just a hair. And then I found this to be very interesting because you normally do not have a flute with such a small range of movement in terms of where the note resonates in the mouth. On a step-up flute, you normally do not see that. Normally, that's something you only really see in professional model flutes. And someone in the chat was mentioning that it could be because we are working with essentially professional head joints here. So that could account for the fact that the range of motion is very, very small. And I find that to be very cool that they have that in step-up flutes. So, and I did find because the airstream is so wide and so flat, it forced me to keep my tonguing very low in the mouth. Mostly tonguing against the bottom of the front teeth. For the lowest notes, I was actually tonguing, like I felt like I was tonguing against the top of my bottom front teeth. So that was really interesting. Then I moved on. We had a little ad break, And then we moved on to this one that I am cleaning up right now. And this is the 600 series. This one had a silver body entirely. So it had a silver body and Y key arms. And essentially most of it was pretty much the same as the 500 series. So I didn't expect there to be such a huge difference, but there was. So this one returned our Airstream shape to your typical bean shape that I expect from silver flutes. So I guess that's not a surprise, which made me think that that super wide Airstream might actually be a nickel property, because silver plated means that it's silver plated on top of nickel. So the range of movement is even smaller on this flute. So the lowest note I still feel resonating between my lips, but my highest note is resonating in front of my top front teeth. Like, that is how far forward it is. It's insanely small range of motion. So like really all I'm feeling is not so much the like when it's resonating, I don't feel it going back in the mouth. I only feel it going up. So from here to like here. So that's why I called it Uber front playing. And then because of that, the tongue doesn't move. It just straight up, it doesn't move. So it just sits at the bottom of the front teeth, no matter what you're playing, which now that I have trained myself to play with my tongue being able to move around depending on what I'm playing, it's actually now very hard for me to stay in one place. So this does make it very, very good for people who are learning double tonguing, because then you don't complicate it with having to move it around, you know? So like this is very good for a student. And I think I didn't quite write it in here, but you can get very, very soft on this, like insanely soft. I'll put here, can get very soft and crispy is what we're calling it. That like thin, crispy sound. You can get that on this. You can also get it on the 500 series, but not quite as extreme as on the 600 series. And that was one of the things that they were saying was really good about their flutes, was that they have a lot of control in these soft notes, and they do. Partially because on the 500 series, you are starting on with a very flat, wide Airstream. So just as soon as you get a little bit thinner, it already has that like really nice, thin, crispy sound without you like overworking yourself to get to that shape. And a very similar thing on the 600 series, except that if you have the flexibility to keep going smaller and more circular, it allows you to. So yeah, I think that like I was saying earlier, that it's a preferential thing, you know, like I think some people will find that it's easier to control the 500, while other people will find that it's easier to control the 600. So I can see that my second, oh, there we go. My second camera realized it needs to focus. Okay. We are now, I think we're on this one. Yep. Here we go. So, am I going to do another live with Tatiana? I would love to. I would love to. Thank you for the idea. Yep, Monica. So, all of us, we're all in the same boat. There's a lot out there, and you just got to find out what works for you, you know? So anyway, okay. I can see that I look very yellow, and it is because the sun has set. So if you guys can give me a quick second to rejigger things, let me put on an ad break while I do so, okay? I will be right back. Here we go. Here we go. Be right back. Just going to rejigger a few things, make it look better, and then we will move on to the next flute. Okay. See you in a bit. All right. Hello, guys. I am back. Let me know if you guys are back. You guys have probably noticed the lighting looks better because I rejiggered the white balance. This is what happens when you have to deal with natural light. So the sun is setting. There's pretty much no more natural light. So yeah, figured that that was a good time to, you know, to rejigger the white balance. I knew that that was going to happen, but oh well. You know, you work with what you work with. Okay. Ooh, frozen pizza. Man, I want pizza. Okay. Wonderful. Well, Jackie, you are in for a good time because we are about to dig into the 700. Let's take a look, guys. Here we go. There's that C-sharp trill. Look at that beauty. It's a beauty. It's a beauty. Let me just make sure it's actually, yeah, there we go. That's more focused. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Okay. So what we're working with here is this 700 series, sterling silver body, silver. This is the, okay, so the mechanism is still silver plated, pointed key arms, and this one has a C sharp trill. Okay. So if anything, I think this one is going to probably play very similarly to the 600, but let's show you guys the goods first. Let's kind of, there we go. Wonderful. There you go. You guys can see it. It's a beauty. It's a beauty. So, I do like how it's very obvious where that C sharp trill is. Okay. So you guys can see here. C sharp trill has a little bit more resistance on this one. That's what I'm noticing. But other than that, the rest of it is pretty much the same. Like you've got our giant trill keys here. Very good for students. Interesting. This one doesn't look quite as pulled over that way. So I'm guessing the design of this one is edging more towards professional. You see that? That isn't quite as pulled over. Okay, I need to open up the 600 again. Yeah, I think I'm right. So if we're looking here, yeah, so you guys can see how this one, it's, I think, more at like a right angle than this one. My goodness. Does not want to. There we go. I think I'm right. You guys see the difference? So this is the 600. This one is a 700. And you can see that the 700 is not quite at the exact same angle, I think. It's subtle. It's very subtle. But I don't think... Is it my imagination? I really don't think it's my imagination, guys. What do you guys think? Can you guys see a difference? Like if I do this. It's not my imagination, right? This is the 600. This is the 700. But do you see how this one is not quite at a right angle as this one is? Yeah, okay. They do look different, right? Like this G key is, the G sharp key is more at a right angle than this one is. Yeah, angles are not the same, right? Okay, I'm not crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. It looks different, right? Yeah. Okay, now that I got my fingerprints all over, I need to wipe it again. Give me a sec, guys. Let me wipe it again. Yeah, it's a different angle, right? So the 700, at least the design of the G sharp key is closer to what I am used to on a professional flute. Like, I'm used to seeing it look like that. Okay. Wiped it down. Got rid of all of my grime. Yeah. So Viva, I think there's like a little bit of a delay, but I did just hold it up right next to each other. I think you guys can see it. There is a difference, right? Like, I don't think I'm crazy. Okay. Now, what else? Here, I'll show you guys this lovely thing. Is it doing it? There. Pretty. It's the same. Oh, this one might be a tad higher. Just a tad than like the 500. But it looks exactly the same. Yeah. It's a beauty. Looks great. Looks great. A little heavier because of the C sharp trill. There we go. Same exact head joint. It's the exact same one. It's the Chris McKenna silver head joint. It's wonderful. Okay. It's time for us to put this baby together. Just a side note, it is packaged exactly the same as the 500 and the 600. Exact same case. Exact same. Oh, this one I think they forgot to include, unless I don't think they forgot to include it. It must be in here. Yep, it's in here. So it's just in the zipper compartment here. They put it's the exact same wooden cleaning rod, and then the microfiber polishing cloth. I do see that they do also include a strap, a longer strap, so that's useful. I think all of them have this. Okay, let me just zip that all up. Okay, wonderful. So now, let's try this out. Yeah, whoa, definitely heavier. Yeah, that C-sharp trill definitely added some weight to this. Okay, I'm gonna guess it will feel very similarly, like playing wise, it should feel very similar to the 600. Oh, sorry guys, that was the wrong microphone. Here we go. Needs to go high. I'm not used to placing it there, but we'll try and get it out. see if I can. I have to see if I can create space. I'm essentially trying to create space where I don't have space in my mouth. Yeah. Okay, I know where it needs to sit, but I don't actually have that space in my mouth. Like it resonates in front of the highest C, resonates in front of the gums for me. Like right up in here. And I have a small mouth, and so it's a little too high for me right up in there. So this is making me think that if you had a larger mouth and you enjoy mostly playing in the front of your mouth, then this is going to be extremely easy to play. It's just that I have a very small mouth, and so it's like going up high enough that like I don't have really enough space up there. But that's only if I'm going to the absolute highest notes. Nah. Okay, give me a sec, guys. I literally need to like massage extra space into there. It's so weird to do. Okay, I think I don't have enough space there, but you guys can hear when I massage extra space into there. Like, if I really massage that area, do you guys hear that it sounded better? I'm just massaging it a little bit more. This is so dumb to do. Okay. Oh my gosh, this feels like this on the 600 again. I think I lost it. Okay. No! I think I lost it, guys. It just doesn't, my mouth doesn't want to resonate at that high up there. Okay, we'll give it one more go. for me. That's the B flat. Okay. We're just going to call it. I think I know exactly where it needs to sit, but I don't have the space. Like, I physically don't have the space to do it. So I would say if you have if you go to the dentist and they don't have to use the child-sized x-ray tab on you, you probably have like a normal sized adult mouth. If you have a normal sized adult mouth, you probably will not have as much trouble as I am. I literally have a child-sized mouth. So I think I physically do not have the space to resonate that highest note. But everything underneath it is fine. So what this means for me is that when I play this, my high notes are still going to come out really, really easily, but the highest notes will probably not have as much clarity. Like they'll be a little stuffy compared to other people playing this flute. That's what that would be my my conclusion there. But yes, I am correct in that it does play very similarly to the 600, like very, very similarly. I'm just going to do more of the lower harmonics to really figure them out first before we keep going. Don't have the physical space. Now, what I noticed, there is something actually weirdly a little different between the 600 and 700, and I don't know why this is the case, all right? But I am noticing it wants your mouth to be a little bit more bottom heavy. So like it wants your like I feel like I need to provide some empty space in my jaw for it to like resonate into, if that makes sense. Like I feel the notes vibrating up in the front, but it's almost like I need a little bit of extra space for more air, just kind of like basically negative space. I need some negative space in my jaw. So it's almost like a more bottom heavy way of playing. So similar to 600, very front playing, also a little bottom heavy. So space in jaw is what you need. And maybe that might be why it's getting very difficult for me to get the highest harmonic, because I think you still need some of that space in the jaw for it to resonate, but it also needs to resonate really like high in the mouth. So I think I physically don't have the space to do that. Jacinto or Jacinto, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's hard for me to just pluck out of my brain how a Miramatsu EX feels compared to this. I would say that they do feel like, based on what I remember, these feel wildly different. And you can see from the notes that I'm writing in here, it just plays wildly differently from a Miramatsu. Okay. You're welcome. Yeah, I almost have like a... It's almost a bullfrog effect. I'll put here. Almost bullfrog. Frog? There, frog. Oh, it's almost bullfrog. Almost, not quite. There's a bit of that though. And just so you guys know, historically, I know myself, and I personally, my body and my mouth, if there is a head joint or a flute that plays a little bit more bottom heavy like this, where you have to like kind of do a bullfrog type of feel, personally, it usually does not bode well for me. These types of flutes are actually very difficult for me to play. Still beautiful and wonderful, but it's just personally for me, it doesn't work for me. But I have a lot of students where that type of playing absolutely works on them. So to each their own. Okay. So we're going to look at tone, color, and dynamics now. Whoa. Oh, wow. Okay. This larger range of tone color, I would say. Larger range of tone color and dynamics. So, in particular, I do find I can go a little wider than on the 600. Again, I don't know why, because it should be the same head joint and mostly the same body, but something's different. So I'm finding that I can go a tiny bit wider if I wanted to, and it won't do all the cracking. And I can go even tinier. Like, out of all three of these instruments, the 700 by far, if you have the flexibility and you're trained enough to go really, really tiny, it will not lose your sound. That's incredible. That was incredible. Holy. Whoa. That was incredible. I'm kind of legitimately amazed by that. All right. That is insanely soft. Whoa. Wow. You can go very tiny, and it doesn't lose it. All right, my Genshin fans will know where that's from. Rue's theme. Uh, I feel like this flute is just very good at that like crispy thin sound. Like that's just like, you know, goosebumps, you know. Um MuseScore. Go on MuseScore, Viva. There's a lot of fan transcriptions and they're fantastic. Let's see. Okay, you're technically not supposed to play the Mozart G like this, but let's see what happens. For a hot second, I forgot what note that was supposed to be. It. Yeah. Okay. I was trying out a few different types of melodies. Like I was doing a bit of the Mozart in that bombastic way that some people like it. And it worked okay. I didn't, but it's just not the star of the show. The star of the show is that last piece I did, which is from Genshin. And that crispy sound, man. Like this flute is just good at that. So I also tried a little bit of the opening of the Bach B minor to try and see if it can do sort of that hollow sound. And it can, but I do notice that I need to really control it. But in terms of the crispy sound though, that like crispy thin sound, that last one is just so good for that. Right? It's like a very crispy, sweet sound. I think that's the star of the show for these. Like, if you want that crispy, sweet, thin sound, these ones will just do it for you. Like it's incredible. That's incredible. Like it can do the other tone colors, as you guys can hear me like messing around, but like it's just not as good as that crispy sound, man. So I'll write that in the notes here. Crispy sound. Crispy sound is the best. It's so good. Okay. Let's just quickly do some mechanism stuff. clean. Little bit of resistance, nice amount of bounce, very even. I do actually think I can tell the difference between a pointed key arm and a Y arm. So I take back and I eat my words of what I said at the beginning of the stream. I can tell the difference. No, but yeah, it's so responsive. See, if you do the E-Bear, you can tell. Do you hear how clean that was? That was so clean. Like way cleaner than the one with the Y arms. So I think if you are playing very high level music, you can tell the difference. So you will want to get pointed key arms rather than Y arms. Yeah, that was an incredible difference. Like it's almost like I could predict the key action a lot better, because that's actually part of like when you play really fast crazy things is you have to be able to predict how it feels so that you can control it. And I think with the Y arms, I can't predict the key action as accurately as I can with the pointed. It's so interesting. Amazing Grace. Mm-hmm. That nice crispy sound works on that one for sure. Okay, so that was mechanism. Articulation. Okay, probably the same as a 600. I'm just gonna put here, pointed key arms do make a difference on high level music, I would say. So now we'll do it's a workout for me. It's a workout for me to keep the tongue in the same spot. But I would say that the tongue is in the exact same spot as the 600. Yeah, it feels the same. Very front, just bottom of the teeth. And it just stays there. Stays at bottom of teeth. Oh, sorry, I was wrong microphone. So I think this is one of the reasons why it also makes the high notes really easy to come out, because the tonguing stays in the same spot. So if the tonguing is staying in the same spot, like this is what typically happens when you are studying, when you're studying the flute. Um, Most people will keep their tongue in the same spot. And so that's why it grates on everyone's nerves when you try to, like, you know, when you do your long tones on high notes, they come out just fine. But then once you start tonguing them, it's like everything goes out the window and you wonder why. And the reason why it goes out the window is because the tongue needs to be, on most flutes, further back in the mouth than you think it should be. Whereas you might be keeping it in too forward of, like, too front of a position. And so it causes it to sound really kind of like shrieky and like kind of shallow and like just shrill, you know? So if you tongue further back in the mouth on most flutes, you'll match where you are actually resonating the note, which should be further back and higher. And then that will encourage your mouth to resonate the note where it should actually be resonated. Whereas if you tongue too forward, you encourage the mouth to resonate the note too forward in the mouth. I hope that makes sense. But on this flute, you don't have to worry about that because everything is in the front. And so because everything is in the front, even the high notes are in the front, your tongue doesn't have to move. And so I actually wonder if that also contributes to high notes feeling easier on these flutes. That is my conclusion. Very interesting. Wow. Well, I do need to try out some of the rest of the mechanism for you guys. Sorry to bounce around. Very nice resonance. Very nice, like, bounce. C sharp trill. Yeah, so the gizmo makes a huge difference too. C sharp trill is a little bit resistant. I wonder if that's a thing that you can actually get a technician to rejigger for you a little bit. But the key action itself is really good. It's very, very good. Very responsive, very bouncy. Has just the right amount of resistance for a step-up flute. Like a little bit, but not too much, you know? What would I suggest for learning tonguing styles beyond a lesson book? Well, I guess you're also saying beyond a teacher too. So, well, that's a hard question to answer because I did give a couple of tips earlier in this stream about tonguing on your hand so you can feel the puffs of air. And that gives you really good physical feedback as to what you're doing. Whereas if you're only tonguing into the flute, you don't necessarily know physically what you're doing and what your air is doing. So I would highly recommend that, again, essentially, as like something that you can do beyond what a lesson book would tell you. But the reason why I say it's a really hard question is because everyone's a little bit different. And so, you know, I find that I do need to experiment with my students and kind of guide them along. And like what I usually do is I listen to how they're tonguing and I will essentially diagnose what is happening, get them to try out some solutions and see which solutions, you know, work for them. So yeah. Anyway, that was really fun. I know this live stream has been full of surprises. I want to play on this flute a little bit more on the 700. I just kind of want to try out a few more Genshin themes just to see how it responds because I feel like the tonal color of this flute really jives with like more like of this kind of modern orchestral music. So We're gonna do that one more time. Whoa. All right, I have one more thing to say. I might have more as I keep playing. So I'm noticing that because everything is so far forward in the mouth, it makes it so that like it appears that you have a lot of flexibility, that you can just go up and down in the octaves like really like with a lot of ease. And it's because you essentially don't have to move very much. So you guys notice like when I got into the low notes, they just came right out, you know, like, and it's because I just basically didn't move. Like I just put, you know, the amount of air pressure needed for those low notes and they came right out. That high A too just pops right out. You don't need to move at all. You just need to finger a high A and just like kind of like just kind of perk it up a little bit and then like it just comes right out. Like crazy easy. That's incredible. There's another Genshin piece that does something similar. Yeah, it works really well for that. Yeah. Crispy. Yeah, if you want the crispy sound, this is a very good flute for that sound. There's one more I want to try. I usually don't do this, but I think I am going to. Okay, I usually don't pop the plugs out, but I think for this song I have to. Crispy. All right. I think I've proven my point. Um, these flutes have a very, I want to say, like modern sound. So, um, I'm actually finding that it's harder to get the exact sound I want on older things. So, for example, Baroque music, even classical music, and like, I guess I haven't tried romantic. Okay. I would say romantic and ahead. So romantic and further, that it's very natural to get the sound you want on this flute. But the older stuff, so Baroque and and classical. Personally, I'm finding that it's just, you just have to work a little bit harder to get the tone color that matches that those eras. Like, so like I would say like this flute really, to me, it has like a very modern leaning. So it leans very very like crispy. You know, you want that crispy sound for essentially romantic and onward. And like, that's so interesting. I just like, just how crispy you can get. I think it's best for 20th century and onward. That's my feeling with this flute. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay. My glasses have been getting increasingly dirty as the stream has gone on. So let me just wipe that so I can read the chat. Did you guys notice my incredible brain fart for the concertino? I was just like, I don't know, it starts out with the exact same notes as Concerning Hobbits, and then my brain was just like, Concerning Hobbits. And what I realized is I needed to just think about the opening piano intro to the concertino, and then I was fine. Oh dear. Come on, get out of there. Okay. There, now you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm done, guys. That's Northbridge Flutes series 500, 600, and 700. They are wonderful flutes. Thank you, Flute Center, for sponsoring today's stream. I had a ton of fun, just really relaxed, trying flutes out, you know. I hope you guys enjoy the more relaxed vibes as well. I'm letting myself try things if I like in the moment, I'm like, oh, but can I do this and can I do that? And personally, I think that is making for better content. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I know that a whole bunch of you guys have stayed here from the beginning. That's incredible. Thank you so much. Aiden is asking, how do I suggest buying a flute secondhand, especially a step-up flute? Generally speaking, if you don't want to worry too much about like figuring out if you have a good flute on hand or not, you want to look into consignments. You want to look into secondhand flutes that are being sold by reputable flute companies and stores and distributors. So Flute Center is one of them. Flute Center does carry secondhand flutes. So the thing is, though, because they're secondhand, it's kind of up for grabs what's out there. So generally speaking, though, if you're going with a flute distributor, store, company, like a reputable one, where they sell lots of flutes, generally speaking, you're looking at places that will also sell new flutes on top of their secondhand flutes. Those are places that you can pretty much bet that you're going to, like they probably would have like refurbished the instrument for you already, and they're more trustworthy. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. And by the way, guys, I do apologize if I like missed your question or something like that. It's just reading the chat, sometimes I end up glossing over some things, so I do apologize for that if that is the case. I did see Arnev, you said point of view, Genshin at 12 a.m. That is the flute one, right? The flute version of the Genshin opening of the Genshin login screen is the flute one is like at night, isn't it? Jackie, you're considering the 700 in the hopefully near. Fantastic. Yeah, you guys like that crispy sound? Love that. I really like this crispy sound. Beware of eBay. Yeah, Mandy ended up with a Frankenflute. I remember that. That was crazy. I think you had like each part of the flute was from a different flute, right? That was crazy. Oh, don't worry, Michael. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Viva's absolutely right. Aiden, if you're still watching and looking at the chat, um, yeah, like your flute teacher, if you have a flute teacher, can definitely help you with getting a secondhand flute. The nice thing about a secondhand flute is that um, you don't have to, what's the word, like break it in. I know that sounds really kind of weird, but like you do have to break in the instrument, a new instrument. I know that I think I spent a few months breaking in my new flute. Like it almost has sort of like a muted quality to it until you break it in, and then when you break it in, it just, you can feel that it's more responsive to you. So most instruments are like this. You have to break in new pianos, you have to break in new violins, and it's new guitars, etc., etc. So there is a break-in period. Now with secondhand flutes, there is no break-in period because they've already been broken in by their previous owner. So that is actually one of the things that is a really good upside to getting a secondhand. Yeah. Okay, guys, I have finished cleaning up. That was so much fun. Oh, you're so welcome. Reverb is a very good like generally a very good site. I personally I find. So, yeah, all good there. But yeah, if you wanted to check out the secondhand flutes at the Flute Center, you could do so. Hey, Victor, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. All right. Do we have anything else to say, guys? I don't know. If you want crispy flutes, Northbridge is the one for you. Crispy. And yeah, I hope to do more live stream reviews in the future. Now, I'm going to be completely real with you guys. I am taking December off of work. I do plan on streaming during December, but it's going to be probably a lot of Genshin streams, and just like playing random things on the flute streams and stuff like that. So I I don't think that I will be reviewing a flute in December. However, I love these so much that I want to kind of go back into them more, with just more often come the new year. So I don't want to keep you guys hanging thinking that I'm going to do a review in December. It probably is not going to happen because I am catching up on old projects that have been put on hold because of, dealing with me and my husband dealing with topical steroid withdrawal. But we're coming out of that now, so I'm catching up on old projects, and I will be coming out with a video soon. I haven't made it yet, but I have planned it out that I'm going to be making a video where it's kind of a heads up video of like, hey, there's going to be a few old videos coming out soon. And just know that those videos were shot a long time ago, but I just wanted to kind of tie a neat bow and resolve my old projects before I move on to new projects. So in 2024 is when I am looking forward to kind of moving forward with my online content, and that is moving forward again. I've kind of held on by threads while we've been battling topical steroid withdrawal. And I'm just really excited to jump back in, So, oh, you guys are asking about my mom. My mom's doing really well. Thank you. Yeah, my mom and my dad are doing really well. They are just, they're retired, they're traveling, they're having a great time. So, yeah, they're really happy right now. Um, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do a Christmas special. I haven't really planned anything yet. Yes, thank goodness for Threads. Yeah. So, um, I know that you guys are like the loveliest people. You guys keep telling me to just, concentrate on healing and like, concentrate on my mental health. And I have. I just want to let you guys know that I have. And I really thank you guys for the space that you guys have given me to like work on my mental health and come back slowly. I never really left YouTube and I never really left online content creation, but it's just like I could only do so much of it before, and I'm just really excited to kind of like come back full time basically. Or as full time as I can go. And the Flute Center has also been amazing with giving me space. Like they have never ever demanded anything of me, and they have totally just allowed me to put things on hold until my life has gotten better. And yeah, I was the one who was like, I'm better now, I can do this again. And so we're wrapping up our old projects and then we're going to move forward. So yeah, if anything, this is not an apology. This is not seeking approval for not having done a lot of these in the last bit. In fact, it's just me. I just really want to say thank you to you guys for giving me space, but still coming back and watching me, even though I've been away for a while. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys for just being here for me. Yeah, you guys are great. So, yes, you guys are the best, really. So, anyway, um, that's just what you have to look forward to. Okay, I do have some videos planned where I talk about this type of thing and why, because I know that not everyone, not all of the people watching my videos, all of my subscribers may not make it to this part of the stream where they'll see this. So for those of you who are watching live right now and who are watching after the fact, just know that you're going to hear a bit of a repeat of information. I do ask you to be patient with that, because I think that's the best way to kind of like get communication out to my subscribers about like what's coming and why. So that way we're all in the know, we're all on the same page, and we can all have fun together. So, all right. I love you all so very, very much. Please stay happy, healthy, and safe, because there is no music without a musician. All right? So take care of yourselves. I will see you guys in my next stream, whenever that may be. All right? Laters, guys. Bye.